So, you've been waiting to find out just how good Rise is.
It's really good.
Sorry? What was that?
It's really good.
Okay, Kirsty's still here. I hadn't realised. But if you want to know just how good it is and just what our thoughts are, watch the following video. Thank you for your time.
See you soon.
That was brilliant.
Ludus, Vulpes.
Welcome to Ludus Vulpes. My name's Kirsty.
I'm Phil.
And you join us as we run through our thoughts of Rise from DLP Games.
Yeah, from DLP Games. Rise the board game, or as someone described it, track pushing the board game. So Rise is a game set in a kind of industrial revolution time where you're trying to build and rise your civilization, your city to grandeur, whilst managing the pollution and the populace, making sure they're happy by giving them wonderful arts and cultures to visit, but also increasing your industrialness and a few other pieces. So there's lots of tracks in Rise.
Yes, there are. It's definitely one of those that you do one track to do another,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of like almost efficiency engine build effect.
Oh, yeah, I won't say engine building, but definitely efficiency seeking
Yes,
is definitely an aspect of the game. Anything that it reminds you of?
Yeah, okay, so there's a couple of games that this reminds me of. From the multiple boards aspect and the placements of the different boards, it very much reminded me of Crystal Palace. With the
theme and setting is similar.
Yeah. The pollution and the happiness of the populace is very much Electropolis. That's very much where you are balancing pollution and likes and happiness in that one of the populace. Also, what else does it remind me of? There was another one I was thinking of. No, we'll go with those two for now. So Crystal Palace vibe, we're mixed with Electropolis vibe, I think. There's probably another one that will come back to me and I'll go, oh, that one.
So for me, this game reminds me of Gang Schon Clever, which is very different mechanisms in getting there, but very much about bouncing off one track to another track to another track to really maximise your score. There's definitely elements of that sit within this game. Tiny Epic Galaxies, for those of you that play Tiny Epic Galaxies, is very much pushing things along tracks as well. So there's definitely a vibe there. And I think it'll draw some similarities in the track pushing at least to Tapestry, which has bouncing from one track. And also really, the other thing that Tapestry has that this has in abundance is crystal clear symbology and iconography.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Beyond the Sun.
Yeah, Beyond the Sun.
A hint of I've only played it a couple of times. But
I think that's that. Yeah, it's more about the fact that you're moving on tracks. I think that's a similarity there. So yeah, there's definitely some great games out there that this will definitely draw comparisons to. But before we go any further, should we just have a quick look at how the game works, and then we'll go for a demo round.
Over to you.
This way. So in a game of Rise, you'll be working across all of these tracks, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tracks to work off, and balancing those tracks.
11 technically.
It's not a track; it's an action selection mechanism. I'm going to go with, and basically on your turn, you're going to be using your little factory, which is up here, and you're going to use it to pick one of the actions, and the actions are the ones that have got the coins above them. And the actions are fairly straightforward and fairly simplistic. So this, for example, allows you to move 2 times on the science track. There you go. Done. When you move on a track, you'll also look at what triggers off that track. So in this case, I'm red. If I move 2 on the science track, I would get a little riot taking place, which will move my cube down on the popularity track 1. But I also get 4 victory points, which is nice. And then I would, because science has done some wonderful things and has helped clean the environment, I would get an environmental positive outcome on my environmental track. And that would kind of be my turn. That's the action you're going for. You can also go for a slightly more powerful action on a card, but that often costs you money. And wherever you see a cost in red, you'll be paying that to gain advantage. And that would be 3 science moves. So on my turn, I've probably paid 2 coins to get here initially. If I want the bottom action, I'm going to pay a little bit extra. But that's not the whole entirety of how action choices work. No. In between each action are a series of events, and they will take place for everyone who is to the right of that event. So if I had gone here for the science track, I would have triggered this event and this event for myself. So I would have taken 2 victory points here, and I would have increased my popularity on the popularity track before.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Before taking my actions, which are here. The other thing that will happen is if I'm the first player and I place mine here, if Kirsty had then come here or here,
Or there.
or there in a 2-player game, I would have been able to read a book, and that book is just another token that's going to give me another move on a track. I'm currently all read out, so I can't do that at the moment, but Kirsty's got some books that she can work with. Gives the first player a slight advantage because there's an opportunity of triggering those books, so that's quite nice as well. You collect the books at school, obviously, and the books come in and they sit with you, and after you've read them, you flip them over, and there are ways within the game of flipping them back over so you can start reading them again. Things cost money. Money goes in your safe. Your safe has a maximum coins at the end of your turn of 5. You can flip it over to have a maximum of 10. Questionable. I don't think we've ever got to a point where that really matters, but you know, one day maybe.
Maybe.
Also, very entertainingly, the box contains these, which are the tokens that suggest you might score over 100 points. And over 3 games, we've not yet found a use for them.
No.
But with a little bit of luck, we'll get there. So that, in essence, is how the game works. You're progressing along the tracks, taking the benefits you get to, and looking for victory points, which are in the little, like sort of long wreath kind of things.
There are another little mechanism where you can pick up.
Do you want to explain that one?
Yeah, so you'll see on there's 2 boards here which have the dotted lines going up to the reward. So this one, you move along the track, and when you decide, and at any point during your go, you can decide to take that benefit. So I would, for example, I'm blue, so I'd move up here. I'd be able to turn my red books over, come back down, collect a coin, and go back to the start. If I was further up here, I'd be able to move up the environmental track 1, come down and collect a coin. So these are at any time bonuses that you can take as long as you're sat beneath it. And it's the same with the bank here as well. You can move along, and at any stage during the game, if it's not your turn, or if it's the end of your turn or beginning of your turn, before you place your token, your stands, you can then choose to gain that that instant money or that instant victory points, because sometimes there are bonuses along here which will give you like a reward for being further along a track, so generally around this track or this track, so it's worthwhile noting there.
It is indeed. So that's in essence the game. We'll take you straight into a demo round, and you can see we're probably going to play 2 rounds. The other thing is these decks of cards here. So this is a graduated deck that goes through 3 eras, and the actions become more powerful. And this is the event decks, which by the end of the game will have run out entirely.
Yes.
So you're going to be turning those over at the start of each turn, and the game flow is just up here. Start of your turn, you're going to take income, replace these 7 cards, then place your factories. After you've placed your factories, you're going to work from left to right across here to take actions, and then finally any end of round incomes or any end of round points you're going to score before you go cycle back. You also at this stage you're going to check to see how many coins you've got in your safe before you cycle back and take your income. So in case we're saying about this one, if I was here and I'd only got 5 space in my safe, that would be, I'd do that after we've checked the safe.
Yeah.
So it's just one little things to think about, and actually the game provides lots of thinky moments, so there you go. Let's do a demo round.
Let's do that.
Kirsty, I believe you're first on this demo round, as your factory is in the first place.
So I've got 4 whole coins to spend. Not a great start, but we'll see. Okay, I will go for spend a coin to a little bank and go. Maybe I'll spend more coins.
Ooh.
No, I feel like I need to be educated, so I'm going to go here and get educated.
Yeah, you go for it. So I've been pushing on science tracks, so I think I'm going to continue that trend. I'm going to come here, I'm going to spend 2. Now this leaves me in potentially a predicament because I might not have enough money to take the bottom action. However, this is a little exchange here where you can exchange victory points for coins. So I can gain, I can gain more coins, but I will sacrifice my very narrow lead at the moment. I've got 19 points to Kirsty's 17 points to do so. So we'll see how that goes. So now we work our way up here. No one's taken this action. I'm going to take it off the board just to add a bit of clarity. Then we both get 2 victory points because we're both past that event. So that event comes off, and then Kirsty gets to take her action. So it's 1 coin for 3 if you wanted.
I will do the 1, 2. Oof.
I think that's really tricky, actually.
Yeah.
So this is 2 school actions, and Kirsty's only got 2 steps left on the ladder.
Yeah.
And this step allows her to take a read action, but she can also flip her books as well. So she can potentially get quite a bit out of that. Or 3 actions will allow her to read a book, come up here, and then read a book again.
Read a book, yeah. And I've only got 1 book to read.
But you'll be picking one up here as well.
Okay, so I will do the triple one and spend a coin.
Okay.
So spend a coin to the bank, move up 1.
Yep.
Then I will
you get to read a
up.
book when you stop here.
I will read the arts and culture book that I collected earlier when I was at the library.
Would you like to pay a coin
I
to
would.
make use
Love to.
Make yourself
spend
more
a coin.
popular?
Yeah, suddenly everybody loves me.
Kirsty's buying popularity.
It's the only way I'm ever going to do it.
Which one of these 3 would you like?
I would like to go for... I think I'll go for the purple, please.
Okay, cool.
That's my second one. And then my third one is to read a book. So I will actually do that.
And move up the purple track.
And move there.
So now we're on the B-side boards. So each of these boards are double-sided. So Kirsty could potentially come up
I think
here.
I will do that, actually.
Flip a safe.
I'll do
and
that.
flip her books, which is not unsensible.
So I'll flip that so I can now hold 10 whole coins in my safe.
Flip your books.
Flip my books. 1, 2, 3.
And then draw a
4,
coin.
and take a coin. That wasn't too painful a go.
No, not at all. So that now goes back into the slot 1. This can come off because it's happened. I now get to be more popular just by being me. and then I get to take my action. Look, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of cheese. I'm going to spend a 2 to take 3 science actions. So the reason I'm happy to have that popularity is because I'm going to lose 1 here, but gain 4 victory points. 1, 2, 3.
He created
4.
a riot in his town.
Yeah, but it's okay.
That's what the brutal fists are.
Yeah, it's a riot. And the red trees are pollution. But I got a green tree, so my science people have gone, okay, we know how to stop burning coal.
Nice.
So we're going to make energy cleaner. And then I get to
Solar power.
Maybe. I've got a choice on the B board. I can either bypass it and come here, but I'm going to miss out on 4 victory points potentially, or I can come here. But I think I'm going to bypass at this stage. So I'm going to get a culture and a school. So I still get a school, and on the school I'm going to take the little banking one because the banking track is really kind of powerful for coins.
Yep.
And then I'm also going to take my culture, which is I had both opportunities there, so I'm going to move that to there, and that pushes me along there.
Nice.
And that is the end of my turn. We have no one left in the game, so we do not need to worry about those. And we come to the end of the round. At the end of the round, we check to make sure we are good on our safe. My safe,
I'm fine.
Yep, nothing's coming out. It's empty, so I'm all right.
So your income, mine's fine, by the way.
Before we do income, we do end of round scoring. So end of round scoring, we score points on here. So I score 1 point. Kirsty doesn't score any. Whoops. And now we do income.
Okay, so I get 3 coins.
And a victory point.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
And I get 2 coins.
And you get 2 coins.
And no victory point.
Ta-da!
And then, so we've done the income. We then set up some more cards. So these cards are back. This is era 2.
So about halfway through the game at this point. Give you a rough idea of how poorly we're performing on the victory points track.
And it feels sometimes like you're performing poorly on all the tracks.
Yeah. maybe a little bit.
Okay, Kirsty, over to you. What are you,
Okay,
what you
can I
gonna
have a
do?
look and see what came up? So that's quite nice. I feel that might be quite useful.
While Kirsty's thinking, I'll just describe each track. This is a media track, and it's got a little continuous loop. So you can loop through each of 4 segments. This is the school track, where you get books, free education. The science track, where your scientists are great. The politics track. We've got arts and culture. We've got banking. We've got the bureau. We have industry, which gives you income at the cost of pollution. We have pollution or green, and we have riots or popularity.
Okay. Hoping you do that a bit slower. Okay, let's go for... I will pay 2 and I will come here, please.
Grab your little factory.
Thank you. 2 to the bank.
So now, as I place, if I place all the way up here, Kirsty won't get to read a book, but that's like, it's
okay.
kind of really expensive for me at the moment. And
Oh, how the tide has changed.
yeah, quite. So I think I'm actually just going to come here.
Okay.
So because I've come to the left, in a 2-player game, this only affects if you go to the same card. Sorry, in a 3-player game, it only affects if you come 3 or 4-player game if you come to the same card. However, in a 2-player game, it's any stop to the left. Kirsty will get to read a book.
And I shall choose 2. Let's have a quick look and see what's worthwhile. I will be nice and... Oh, do I? No, okay, so I'm going to read... I'm going to do my arts and culture book.
And have
Push
a
that
bureau
at 1,
move.
and then have a bureau move, which will put me there.
Okay, so now we go through this action. No one's taken it. It goes there. This one gives us both the opportunity with this symbol to read a book, and we do it in turn order. Sorry, which we're going left to right, so that's technically me first. So I'm going to move 1 up the banking track.
I will have a quick look.
Kirsty's more educated than I, so she has more books.
Takes a while. I will... Okay, I will read my... that gives you money, though. That gives me money. Okay, I'll take that extra coin, I think.
Okay, so Kirsty reads a book about
Yeah, I'm gonna
industry.
read a book about
and
industry.
bounces that for a coin.
Thank you.
So now every time Kirsty does industry, she just gains coins, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. And I'm not creating any pollution because I'm doing the...
You're all about solar.
Yes.
So I'm going to do this. So I'm going to spend 2 coins, but I need 3 coins. So I'm going to spend... So I check here, 2 victory points for 1 coin. 1, 2. There you go.
Thank you.
Now I could have taken these 7 coins here, but at the end of the round, that's going to cause me problems because those 7 coins are... I'd end up losing 2 of them. So I get to do 3 politics
Not
and
necessarily.
flip some books. So I'm going to flip some books first.
You can flip your safe here.
Oh, yes, I can. I can actually flip my book safe and get 7 coins.
That's what I meant.
And then I get 3 politics moves. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to read a book about banking.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought so too. I'm going to come here and I am going to choose to have a riot because that's what politicians do. They create...
I predict a riot.
They create riots. I'm going to come to this spot here as my 3rd move, and basically the first time anyone hits one of these, it triggers all the incomes that anyone's at. I'm just going to take a coin.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to take a victory point.
Nice.
I like the victory points. And that is the end of my turn. Now, Kirsty gets a
So you
choice.
put yours back
I'll
and
put
that card
put this back here. This is going to come back here, and Kirsty gets to either take a coin or a victory point.
I think at this stage I'll probably take a victory point. I feel like it might be needed. So that's
Put
done.
this one back.
I will then take... So it's 2 of those, which will put me in a healthy position there. Or 2 media, which will
Read all about it.
just like that.
Just like that.
Okay, so I'm going to spend my... Ooh, that gives me 1 of each. I'm going to spend a coin, and I'm going to do 2 media.
Oh, okay. Exciting.
And the 2 media, so 1 here gives me a move up there,
Yeah, and the next one,
and the next one
Which has
gives
to
me
finish
a
the
move
track.
up here.
which gives you a coin.
Yeah. So I'll take that coin back that I spent there.
That comes over here as the action card.
Neither of us got that benefit because we weren't near it, and that action was ignored.
And that action was ignored. So we get to the end and we check. No, I'm fine.
I'm A-okay.
Yeah, no end of round points for anyone, so that's fine as well. So then we move on to income. Kirsty gets more than me.
So I get 3 and a victory point, and you get 2.
I do. And then we load up some cards, some action cards. Okay.
And what events are going to be striking us this
let's-
round?
Let's hope it's not a strike.
Oh, there's a riot.
No, it's because we've increased the rents.
Yeah.
There's a lecture, so you get to read some
There is a
textbooks.
theme here. I mean, some people have said it's slightly themeless, but I do feel like if you're increasing the rents, people are going to write about it. There is like
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
if you're doing more industry, but you're creating more pollution, you know, it works.
Okay, well let's end that demo round. You've had 2 rounds. You can see how pace it is. We're just about to enter Era 3 next turn after we finish this action. So we'll pause there and let's talk about how we think about this game. So Kirsty, what are your initial thoughts?
So, a couple of things that stood out to me during the first teach, and that was how wonderfully simple and easy to follow the iconography is in this game. Sometimes with games, I've always been very good at reading the iconography.
Yeah.
You know, it's not me being big-headed, it's just something that I seem to pick up faster than anyone else. But the iconography is so good in here, the game teaches itself. For example, a coin with black number on, gain. A coin with a red number on,
Pay.
You know, it's you match the iconography with the board and move along however many number of steps.
Yep.
It is that simple, and it makes the game so much easier to just absorb and learn. And within like the second round, I was just like, yeah, go. There wasn't any questions being asked. It's so smooth to play. And I think partly some of that is the simplicity. So it's simple, but it's thinking. So in the aspect that I know that during this game, if I put my token here, that's going to be the action that I do, or that's going to be the action that I do. There's not complexity of, do I do that action, then that one, then that one. It's so straightforward. It takes away those difficult decisions for you.
Yeah, and I think it's. Well, I won't say it takes away difficult decisions because the difficult decisions are there.
Yeah, it's thinky, but it's not having to try and remember everything.
There's no rule burden in this
No.
game at all.
No.
So like we played our first game of this, and the rule book never came out.
No.
Like
That's blissful.
That's unusual. Like in any game, that's unusual. But for when you see all of this scattered in front of you, that says you've got something right. And the rule book 1 is excellent. It's an easy read, and actually each of these spaces is clarified on the A and the B side. But honestly, I had a scan of them, but after that, I didn't even need to read the detail, and that's been consistent throughout the game. And even when you flip over to the B side, so you'll probably start on the A sides, when you flip over to the B sides, it's like there's explanations of how everything works. And I think the only complexity is these tokens on the B side, where actually when you go past them, you can either take the action at the top or take a token.
Yeah.
And the tokens are end game scoring. So wherever you see a little timer, that's going to be end game scoring.
Yeah.
But actually, once you understand that the timer is end game scoring, and then the one final clarification is how you score points at the end of the game. If you're here on the track, you can spend 5 coins to trade for 5 victory points. However, there are other things that it's not. Oh, it's out here. If you've got 5 or more coins, you get 4 victory points. And the rule book is quite clear. You score these tokens before you score that. And that was the one thing I checked, because Kirsty got the tokens last time and was like, oh, but if I do
If
that,
I spend them there, I
if I
can't
spend
do
them
that.
can I do that? It's like, no, that's the order it comes in.
Yeah.
Crystal clear. So the rule book is exceptional. Really
Yeah.
good rule book. Great iconography. Just works. Really smooth flow. And what I would say about the theme is it's not there. It's not really there. But
There are hints of it.
There are hints of theme, and I'd say that's much closer. So, you create some factories and you create pollution. Fine, that's great. You support the bankers and you create a riot. I don't know what kind of state this is supposed to be, but fine.
No, but
politics can cause riots or pollution on the way through. Science will also pollute. And then cause riots. I'm not sure why science is causing riots, but fine. Especially when it's doing like arts and culture and a riot. But it is thematically, it's there, but it's
Game
more
balance.
of a pardon.
Game balance.
It provides game balance,
Yes.
and actually, that's one of the things I would say is also great in this game. The balance across all the tracks and how the tracks interact.
Yeah.
It's been well thought through, well designed, and I would imagine seriously well play tested.
Yes. So we purchased this one from Essen 2022, and when we spoke to the lady who was selling it, I said, "Is it in English?" And she said, "It's English and German on the cards." And obviously, we knew a little bit about the game because it was on our list, but when we say it's like, there's literally a name
It's
of
a title of
card.
the card.
So it's like lecturer, rent increase, angry mob. But you could have an image and the iconography tells you what it does.
Yeah.
So almost the writing is almost unnecessary in a way. It's a name of an event.
It's
the
fact that-
only place where there's writing.
Yeah, it's the fact that a card needs a title, so they're giving it a title.
Yes,
It's fine.
yeah.
And the titles add a little bit to the theme of
Yeah.
those events. And I was dreading it. I was like, oh, there's event decks in here. I hate event decks in games.
I love an event.
Because event decks tend to swing games in unpredictable ways.
This does not.
No, the way it's set up on the event deck, where actually you get to choose how many of those events are going to affect you, depending on how powerful you want it to be. So a lot of the time when they're good events, you'll be like, I can go all
mega
the way to the
power.
end because I can actually take 3 events that are really beneficial. But it's going to cost you as well to go there. And you're going to want the action that's there. If you don't want the action that's there, it might be a bit of a waste of time.
So there's one card here. So when I was saying earlier about that on certain tracks you might want to be in certain areas. So this one, whoever has the maximum amount of riots, which at the moment will be me, will be -2 victory points. However, as long as I don't put near it, I won't get affected by it. To the right of it, I won't get affected by it. So there is player choice in the events,
Yeah, you manage,
which I think is really it's a nice dynamic.
yeah,
actually.
you manage the events. You
Yeah.
decide how impactful they're going to be for you,
Yeah.
and how beneficial sometimes they're going to be for you.
Yeah.
And you pick. It's part of the action selection. So the action selection is kind of compounded by yes, I'm going to pick some symbols, but there's also these events that are going to happen. Like this one's quite nice. You're going to have a riot, but you're also going to get 3 coins. For me at the moment, that feels like a great choice. Although I can always trigger that for 8 coins if I want it. So I've got options. Go on.
I was going to say, the component quality, it's quite a simplistic game in the terms of the amount of components. You've got your coins, you've got your boards, and you've got your player pieces.
And your cards.
Obviously the cards and the books, but everything is well made, it's well created. It feels good quality.
Yeah, it does.
Like there's not flimsy card stock, it's made to last.
The artwork's really nice as well.
Yeah.
It's slightly zoomed out, slightly abstracted, but that works and it's nice. So all the artwork in the game is lovely.
It gives you a feel for what the place is without being too in your face. It doesn't interrupt with the iconography.
Yeah, it doesn't get busy with the rest of the
No.
board, and that's quite nice. It's a good graphic design in there.
Yeah.
My negatives about this game, and I'll just put this out there. If you want theme to be dripping and oozing from your game, go and pick something else up, because this, I'm looking at icons. That tends to be just what I'm looking at. Okay. But every now and again I go, oh look, there's a rent increase, and people are getting upset, and that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny for people who have to deal with rent increases.
No.
Like us. However, what I would say is, although the theme is kind of light in the game, the artwork pulls it together, which is quite nice. The other thing that I would caution against, if you've played games, and maybe Ganshon Clever's a good example, or like Tiny Epic Galaxies, or even like Tapestry, and the things you didn't like about those games was bouncing from one track to another and having big combo moves where you go, I'll move this here and go there and there and there and there and there and there and there. Don't even look at this game.
No, because it has a lot of that.
That is the game. In essence, it's Tracks, the board game, and those tracks are. If you don't like that track movement, then this game will just frustrate you and you're not going to enjoy it. So stay away from it if tracks and bouncing from one track to another is not your thing. The other thing I'd say is, because of that bouncing from tracks, so if I'm moving to here, I've got 2 things that I'm going to advance on. But if I advance on one track that gives me another move over here, I'm supposed to complete that before going back to do the second one here. And you can sometimes just lose track of where you are in the game. So it's quite useful to have other players around you going, okay, you've done one of those, you've got to go back for that.
I'll keep track of what you're doing.
It's all about the tracks. So I'd say that can feel a bit negative as well when you're actually having a really big move and you've got like 4 or 5 icons to resolve.
Yeah.
That can be a bit torturous at times.
So another one of the things that I forgot to mention when we were just running through the positives are, so obviously we play a lot of games 2-player, and on the box it states 60 to 90 minutes. Like after the first game it was like, let's play again. And you can play, so like as a 2-player game, because the iconography becomes so second nature, it's just like, and you can do it in less than an hour. Very easily, anywhere between maybe 30 minutes to 45, depending on how many interruptions you get.
30 minutes is not possible, I don't think. 45 minutes absolutely is.
Yeah, 30 minutes to 45, depending on if there's any AP.
And this game will sometimes trigger AP because you're looking for the efficiency move, and it is very much an efficiency-driven game.
Very much so.
But if that works for you, and it felt straight away like a game where a part mechanic from one game had been taken out and just really pushed to its extreme.
Yeah.
And if that is for you, then this game is going to be great. And I think this game's fantastic. It's a game that is easily going to get to the table time and again.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to learn, so easy to teach, and it plays quick with some good decisions.
So if you wanted a game that was more complicated than this but had a similar sort of vibe, I'd say go Crystal Palace.
Or Dado Chang, actually.
Or Dado Chang, yeah. There's very much feels of those games in this. But this, I'm trying to think what a more simplified version of this would be.
I think you look at.
I'm not sure.
I think you look at games like Ganshon Clever. That is just track bouncing as well, and in a much smaller package. So if you don't want the action selection element,
yes,
and that bugs you, just go play Ganshon Clever.
Yeah.
However, I really like the action selection element. It really makes the game stand out, that you've got the events to manage.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is the thing that really makes this game. That action selection gives you really tough choices at the start of each round.
Very much so. And the replayability, because the likelihood of getting the same cards coming out with those 7 cards, it's nigh on impossible.
And the other replayability factor is that these are A's and B's board side, and normally you see A's and B's in a game, you're like, oh, we're either playing A or B.
Yeah.
In this game, it's like, no, like toss it in the air, shuffle them, do what you want, and mix and match A's and B's. So you can
so much
really, you can really change up how the game plays. Yeah. And that's quite nice as well. So I overall, if you like this kind of track pushing, and I'd say from a track pushing point of view, the track pushing element feels better than Tapestry because I'm not having to like distract myself by building on Little Island. If this is the type of game, elements of games you like, then this game is absolutely for you.
Definitely. Yeah. It's definitely getting a thumbs up from me, I'm going to be honest. This was right up my street when we played, and it just...
I've not beaten it yet.
It clicked in a way that I didn't think a new game could click recently. So it was a good feeling for me.
Yeah, it locks in really quickly.
Yeah.
So if that advice sounds good for you, then go out and get a copy of Rise. And just be very honest with yourself. If you don't like that track pushing element in a game, just don't go and get it.
No, there are other games available.
There are many other games available. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe and leave us any comments below about what you think of Rise. Yeah.
We're also on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Ludus Vulpes.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.